All right. Welcome back, folks, to the FF Faceoff, part of the Faceoff Sports Network. Today we're coming at you, I guess impromptu for me. I joined last minute. But yeah, we're going to be doing a little must know, buy, sell, hold, all that fun stuff, some trade targets for you guys. We'll also, of course, obviously, if you're watching live, if you do have any start sit questions, anything else going on, obviously feel free to fire it into the chat. We usually like to get to all of them unless we're too busy, which is a nice problem to have. But yeah, so there you go. Also, feel free to follow the show at FF Faceoff on X and, of course, fffaceoff.com for all of your NFL fantasy football sports betting needs. Oh, lastly, of course, if you're watching on the YouTube, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that little bell icon to be notified every single time we go live. My name is Michael Hopp. You can follow me on X at the FF Realist. I'm joined by Mr. Pete Nova, who can be followed at Supernova38. That's 2 R's, of course. That's a big disclaimer. Pete, how's it going?
It's going good. Trying to pump this out to our Facebook group. We usually, it takes a little bit before things start rolling in, but I'm feeling good today. It's a Wednesday, a little different. We don't go live on Wednesdays. But we are here and we have Matt here from the FF Mediators who first time live, so we'll go easy on him here, but I am
for the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, for the
Hey,
first
I'll take what I can get.
There you go. See? There you go. Yeah, of course. Yeah, that is Matt from at the FF Mediators is joining us. Matt's been doing some dynasty stuff for us. We appreciate that immensely. So, Matt, how's it going, buddy?
Oh, going great, man. Thanks for having me on here. I'm excited to be here and talk some fantasy football.
Amen. That's it. That's why we're here. I just realized I never even shared the show from my own handle, so that's good. So, Mr. Nova. All right, there you go.
That's all good. We do have a question. I'm going to get us up on Facebook here while we do that, but I will read it out for you. And then one of you guys, Hoff, if you want to go first, and then Matt can go ahead. We also have some YouTube comments coming in as well. Jared, again, always good to see him in the chat. He said, "Hey guys, my running backs are Jordan Mason, Kyron A-Chain, Madison, Brandon Allen. Would you deal one running back and DeMarcus Robinson for Adams and Javonte Williams PPR?" I mean, I guess it just depends on which. I mean, I'm sure if I could move Madison and Robinson, of course I'd do it. It just matters of what the owner's looking for. So maybe Jared, if you want to come back, that would be cool. And maybe just ask, give us more context. Like, do you know what he's looking for?
Because
help.
It's kind of like you were saying, Pete. I don't think you're gonna get away with giving up Madison, or unless somebody's that stupid that they want to take Braylon Allen off of a great week, but still has Breece Hall there.
Yeah.
Sure, go ahead, but I don't know if you're gonna be able to pull that off. I think you'd have to give up one of those names that you probably don't want to give up.
Yeah, I don't think I want to give up one of the big names.
Right.
Yeah. So why don't you come back, Jared? If you have an idea of what they're looking for, we might be able to help you out. It seems like you have Adams and Javonte specifically picked out. So I would curious. He said he wants one of the big three. So he wants Mason, Kyron, or A-Chain. So essentially he wants to know, would you deal Mason, Kyron, or A-Chain with DeMarcus Robinson to acquire Adams and Javonte? I wouldn't, unless you really need a wide receiver upgrade and you feel like Adams is that upgrade, because as a Broncos fan, Javonte, his stock couldn't be lower right now. So I mean, if you really are looking for Adams, I'm okay with buying him. But
did you see the comment he added at the end? I'm sorry. That he did add a few minutes later that he wants one of the big three.
Yeah, which I would. Yeah, so I saw him say that.
Okay.
So yeah, no, you're good. I don't really know if any of these guys are worth shipping off with Robinson to acquire Adams or Javonte, in my opinion.
Right.
Matt, you feel the same?
I think I'd maybe entertain Mason.
Okay.
But for the most part, I'm kind of with you. I'm not really feeling moving for Adams and Javonte. I'm not the biggest Javonte believer, and you're spot on. His value is not very high right now.
Yeah. I wanted to be on Javonte. I drafted best ball like I was in on Javonte, but so far not so good.
Yeah.
So, there you go. Pete, did you want me to pull the questions? I can pull them if you want.
Yeah, go pull the next question. My mic just fell out. Just give me a second.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay. So Ron Scoff, maybe that's why Pete said his mic fell out because he didn't want to try to pronounce that name. He said, "Hey guys, should I drop either Tank Dell, Amari, I assume that's Cooper, obviously, or DeAndre Hopkins to pick up Shaheed, Zach Charbonnet, Jerry Jeudy, Jackson Smith, and Jigba?" So I'm gonna drop either Tank Dell or you know what? If I'm dropping any of them, I would drop Hopkins, honestly, and I would pick up Shaheed because that offense appears to be on fire. The offensive coordinator appears to be working out just fine over there, that being Clint Kubiak. So I would probably put my eggs in that basket. I know Zach Charbonnet is probably going to be good this week, but at some point, Kenneth Walker will be back, so that party will end. So if I had to drop any of those, it'd probably be Hopkins for Shaheed. Matt, do you have an opinion on that one?
Yeah, I'm with you. If I'm dropping anyone, it's Hopkins. Shaheed or JSN is probably who I would pick up. I agree. Sharp's probably a limited time right now. Jerry Jeudy, I'm just not trusting that Browns offense too much. And you've already got Amari, so
that too. That's a big one. Pete,
Yeah,
what
I
about
mean,
you?
I mean, so he said, should I drop either Tank Dell, Amari, or Hopkins? Yeah,
Mhm.
Hopkins sounds like the obvious one, and for Judy, Charbonnet, or JSN, Shaheed, yeah, it's Shaheed for me, as well. If not Shaheed, I would pick up Charbonnet if you need the running back and you feel like Walker might miss some more time. But yeah, I think that's pretty much the route that I would go there. Greg is here in the chat. What's up, Greg? Friend of
Hello,
the
Greg.
show.
Yeah.
Hot Take City as well is here. He said, "What's up, guys?
Very
What's going
popular,
on, my
Pete.
friend?" Yeah, yeah.
Look at you. Yeah.
Um,
I feel like I'm in the presence of greatness right now.
you're gonna make me blush, man.
I'm trying.
So OCT, this is a good one. He said, should I sell Laporta and Ford for Brock Bowers? I mean, I know my answer, but I'll let one of you guys go first.
Go ahead, Matt. You go first.
yeah. I think for me, I'm going to hold Laporta. I don't think I want to get rid of Ford too just to get Bowers because I'm not sure how much of a difference you're really netting by giving up Ford. Ford's someone you can flex. How long's Chubb out to be determined, but Laporta's still good. Let's not overreact too much to how the first two games went.
Bingo. Yeah, this trade move sounds like a reactionary move to the first 2 weeks of this season, where I don't think Laporta in half point. I don't think he's had over 5 points yet in a given week. It's like 4.2 and something else. It was not. It hasn't been great, but still, I love Brock Bowers, but I don't think you need to give up Ford to get somebody who played well in the first 2 weeks when Laporta's probably going to turn around anyway. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, no,
I wouldn't do it personally.
I feel the same way too. I mean, you should be able to get Bowers for Laporta straight up, unless somebody has a hard on for how Bowers has been. But I don't really think anybody should have Bowers ahead of Laporta in their rankings. I know he's looked good, and the usage has been there. But I mean, Laporta is going to get involved. This is an offense that's thrown the ball the most in the NFL so far. They're going to find ways to get Laporta, working. We thought there was regression coming. I don't think we expected it to be this drastic, and I don't think it'll stay this bad. Yeah, I think that's a pretty easy hold on Laporta there. Greg said hello, new guy.
His name is Matt. Put some respect on that, Greg.
Hey, Greg, good to be here.
And Albert said hello, everyone. What's up, Albert? We appreciate you dropping in.
Yes.
Got a bunch more questions here. Security in HC. Sounds like the first time. This might be a newer
He looks like
drop
a
in.
newbie. Welcome,
It
sir.
looks like it could be a newbie. So what's up, guys? Start 3. I'm on Ross St. Brown, Ayuk, Brian Thomas, JSN, Amari, Waddle. I'd have to look at the matchups here. Initially, Waddle is one of my sits this week, so I would definitely know he's not going to be fired up for me. Do we know what the matchups are for these guys?
I am pulling that up right meow. Obviously, Ayuk is going up against the Rams in LA, and I think you play Ayuk just because
Yeah.
of what's going on there with all the injuries. I think it's kind of a necessity at this point.
Yeah. And you're playing
Rolling up to
St.
the other
Brown.
ones.
You're
You're playing, yeah.
you're never
Agreed.
benching St. Brown and Ayuk. I guess it's really just finding him a third guy to start here, right? I
So
think I'm
the
out on
Browns
Waddle.
are
I don't know
going.
how you guys feel though.
The Browns are going to be home against the Giants. The Seahawks are going to be home against the Dolphins. So that takes care of the Waddle and the JSN. And then Brian Thomas Jr., he's on Monday night at Buffalo. I think I'd probably go Amari slightly over Brian Thomas. And I'm someone who loves Brian Thomas. I am hopelessly devoted to that man. But I guess apparently not. I guess to an extent. I think I'd go Amari Cooper against the Giants in this case. But it's close between those two.
Yeah, Matt, what about you?
I think I'm right where he is too. I'm really torn between Brian Thomas and Amari. I think Brian Thomas, the Jags are going to play better. I just think they have to.
Yeah.
It's been abysmal,
Yeah, it's
and
been rough.
Brian Thomas has been the number one receiver for this team, and Trevor Lawrence has some crazy QBR when he's targeting Brian Thomas. I know it's early and a little bit inflated, but
Sure.
it's interesting.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
I mean, they're going to have to score points against the Bills.
Well, look, I would be lying if I said I wasn't a little worried about Amari Cooper and the potential drop off for him. A guy that's made his hay as a route runner in the NFL, and for what it's worth, I mean, the separation hasn't been there for him this year from the advanced metric side of things. But I think you start him against a Giants defense that, granted they limited Terry McLaurin, and Deontay Banks seems like he's going to be a legitimate corner, solid QB, CB1 in this league. I think you go him because you can't start Waddle. In my opinion, that's an obvious no.
No.
JSN, he's got a tough matchup. I mean, the Dolphins have actually been pretty stingy against wide receivers in fantasy. It'd be between JSN and Amari for me though, because Brian Thomas Jr., for what it's worth, he's been really good this year. But I believe the Jags are playing. Who are they playing again?
The Bills.
At Buffalo on Monday night. They're actually, by the way, one of 2 Monday night games this week. Everybody.
Oh yes, 2 Monday night games. I completely forgot about that. But yeah, I mean this Jags team is struggling, and they're also playing a Bills defense that's ranked right now, giving up the 5th lowest points to wide receivers. So I think you start Amari and just cross your fingers and just hope it goes well. There'll be better days ahead for this group of guys that you have, though, for sure, in my opinion.
Sure.
So we have Jay Too Nice says, my team is Jalen Hurts, Barkley, Brees Hall, Devontae Adams, Mike Evans, Kincaid, and Stevenson. Bench players, Tony P, Raheed Shaheed, Singletary, and Pierce, and has Rashad White. What do you guys think? What do you guys think I should switch one of these guys out? So I guess he wants to know, is there anybody on the bench between Tony P, Rashid, Singletary, and Pierce or White that you would sub in for his starting lineup right now, which would be Adams, Evans, Kincaid, and then Stevenson, Barkley, Brees Hall?
I would consider doing I'm assuming obviously Stevenson's a flex since he's at the back end of what he's telling us here. I would put in Shaheed over Stevenson. I mean, I said it earlier, the Saints offense is on an absolute roll right now. And now they have the Eagles coming in after a heartbreaking loss. They're on the road. It's a short week for the Eagles. So I mean, I think the Saints could put up more points again. Eventually, this train's going to slow down, but I don't think it happens in week 3. So I would put Shaheed in there over Stevenson. That'd be my play.
Matt, what about yourself?
I'm wondering, Stevenson, he's taking on the Jets. How's Rashad White been? He's been pretty
bad. He's been pretty bad.
Great.
Yeah,
he's been pretty bad.
So that's the one where I'm like, I don't really feel good about that. I think I'm with you. Shaheed he's playing really, really well. Kubiak's got that offense rolling. Derek Carr's on another level. I mean, I think you got to put Shaheed in there. I mean, he's proven that he's a part of this offense. He had 4 early targets last week too. and it was another blowout.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you guys there. The Eagles defense has been susceptible to the big play. I tweeted about it today. Shaheed is one of my favorite starts of the week. He's facing an Eagles defense that's second most in fantasy points given up, 41.8 per game to the wide receiver position. And they gave up big plays to Darnell Mooney last week, Jaden Reed the week before. Shaheed is, number one in the NFL since 2023 with passes that travel 50 air yards.
It's impressive.
He's got 7 catches. Yeah, and we just started this season. And their offense was terrible last year, and it's better this year. So I can only imagine that it's going to continue for him. It's not a bad question. Rashad White plays Denver, and they were stingy against the Steelers last week, and also he's banged up. So I think White's definitely going to stay on the bench there. I would consider Tony Pollard. That was going to be the one guy. He's got a pretty good matchup. I think the Titans are playing the Packers, who have been pretty susceptible to giving up big chunk plays to the running back position. So that would be the one pivot potentially that I would look to. It would either be Shaheed or Pollard, and I'd start both of them over Stevenson this week.
And
Pollard,
Spears
by
is a
the
little
way,
banged up, right?
Yes, right. Yep, there is that. And then Pollard right now, I mean, in half point formats, he's the RB13 right now, half point formats, quietly.
Yeah,
So,
he's been impressive. He looks way better this year than he did last year. It looks like he's finally healed up with that injury that he had. We have an interesting question here from Quinn, and we appreciate we appreciate you coming in. He said, Mahomes or Burrow rest of season?
the mighty Quinn.
I just want to put this out there. Mahomes has, Burrow and Mahomes' strength of schedule wise, it's pretty similar in terms of rest of season from here on out, from weeks 3 to 17. So you're not really getting a big, clear advantage between one or the other when it comes to the strength of schedule. This is a tough one, man. Though I mean,
I'm all right. I'll say
Yeah.
I'm still going Mahomes here. I know it has not been pretty for Mahomes. I know I'm eating my words, and I don't mind telling you guys I'm somebody who said during the summer he's ranked as my quarterback 1. And right now he's quarterback 12. And what's funny is like we all look at that and we say that's disgusting for Pat Mahomes. And it is for Pat Mahomes, but for any other quarterback, it's pretty good. He's gonna move up. I think he's gonna move up. I think they're gonna work it out. But I think both of these guys will probably finish within a few spots of one another. So I feel like we're splitting hairs a little bit.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go with what I've been saying all summer long because I still believe in it. I mean, maybe I'm a little worried about finishing number 1, but I still think Mahomes will be one of the better fantasy football quarterbacks. So I'm still going Pat Mahomes.
Yeah. Matt, what about you?
I've got a hard time not picking Mahomes whenever he's involved. I mean, you don't bet against the guy. I'm taking Mahomes. Like you said, you're splitting hairs at this point. I mean,
Right.
Yeah, I'm with you there. The advantage Mahomes also has is with his legs. Burrow doesn't really provide the rushing upside. Mahomes sneakily does provide that. And for what it's worth, with a team that's lacking a rushing attack, now granted the Bengals, don't have a stellar rushing attack either, but I think Mahomes is more willing to do it with his legs. Both of these teams are banged up a little bit right now. So, yeah, I think you go with Mahomes here as well.
Let me I want to ask a selfish question really quick.
Go ahead.
Because it's in my own league, and I was literally just looking at it on my phone right now. Our waivers run, tonight into tomorrow.
Like all waivers should. Yeah.
With Cooper Kupp now, they didn't put him on the IR for now. I still don't buy it. I still think it'll change. It could change.
Right.
Do you pick up Whittington? And it's basically a free roster spot. I'm not dropping anybody of any kind of significance. Or, because I like Whittington this week against the Niners. I think that front 7 of the Niners gets back to good. Talanoa Hufanga is going to be out there. Thank God.
I mean, I guess I would need to know what the options are. You're saying Whittington, but who else is out there?
You got Whittington. I mean, Carson Steele's out there. You got a decent amount of guys out here.
I mean, I think you got to go Steele over Whittington only because
Jackson Smith.
we know that Steele's going to be involved. I love Whittington. I really
Yeah.
do. I think he's a
maybe
good
I do
ad,
go
but
Steele.
I think you got to go with Steele.
Yeah, I think you're right. Okay,
Matt?
never mind.
Yeah,
This question.
I think Steele's probably the right answer, but I mean, I
Okay.
can't blame you if you want to go Whittington. Like,
No, I just put the waiver claim in now. So if it doesn't work out, then it's on both of you. There you go.
I'm fine to take that blame.
I'll
Okay.
take the blame too.
There you go.
All right, a lot of questions, so let's get back into it real quick.
Sorry about that. I cut the line.
That's all right. That's all right. You deserve it. You know, you put a lot of work and you get to cut the
There
line.
you go.
Super CNB Challengers says just got offered Kyron Williams and Calvin Ridley for Nico Collins PPR. I need a running back pretty badly. So I'll start off and just say Nico Collins should be able to net you somebody in a little bit of a better situation than Kyron. If you need a running back that badly and you're willing to move Nico, you should be able to get a better back. So I wouldn't do this deal. I'd shop around. Nico Collins is somebody who people should be ecstatic about right now, trying to acquire. And Calvin Ridley, I like Calvin Ridley, but he's also in an offense with Levis where, I mean, he's not going to, you know,
He doesn't jump off the page for me.
Yeah, I don't know how consistent he's going to be. And
Right.
Kyron's situation sucks right now. You should be able to get better than that, in my opinion.
You're giving up the best player easily, and you're not getting back what I feel to be a solid start in both players.
Yep.
I don't even think it's a disrespectful offer, to be completely honest.
No.
You know, I just think you got to get a more secure back than that. Like,
Yeah,
I would be willing to try to trade Nico for Gibbs right now. You might be able to do that deal.
You might be able to do that. That's a real thing. Yeah. I don't think this is like a offer that's gonna get people are gonna be vetoing the trade. I just don't think it's necessary. I think it's like Pete said, you gotta hold out to get a bigger name.
Yeah. Ask around.
Yeah, exactly.
I would just tell this guy.
Nothing for you.
That's right.
Just let him know. Let's let him
Do a
know.
little window shopping first.
Yeah. Jared comes back, says PPR need one wide receiver, one tight end. He said Jennings, Demarcus Robinson, Higgins, Shakir, Kincaid, or Likely. Okay, so he needs a start. I thought it was waivers. His tight ends are likely, so he can pick either Kincaid or Likely to start this week, and then he needs one receiver to start out of this group. I will just say you're starting Higgins for me. If he's up and he's available, you're starting Higgins in a smash matchup, and I go Kincaid over Likely.
I don't like either matchup for those tight ends, but I would agree. I would go that same exact route.
Completely agree. Nothing to add. If you lose Higgins, then maybe you can start.
Well, all right. Well, then why don't we do this? Because Higgins might not play. So let's assume Higgins is not available. What would be the backup that you would suggest for him to start if Higgins does not play?
Matt, go ahead.
I think I lean Shakir. I'm not real excited to start Robinson or Jennings this week. So I would lean Shakir because I think he's got a safe floor.
So if you do that, then, because I think you had said you were going to do Kincaid, if you do Shakir, are you comfortable doing Kincaid, or then do you pivot over to Likely?
I think I stay with Kincaid. I think Likely's week one was a great week, but I do think that's going to end as his best week on the season.
Me too.
And I think Andrews is going to be fine. I'm not worried about Andrews just yet. So we'll see what happens. I mean, there's certainly a world where Likely scores and Kincaid doesn't do anything again, and then that changes everything.
Yeah.
Right. No.
Yeah, I'm with you guys here too. For what it's worth, Shakir plays the Jags 8th worst against wide receivers. They're giving up 30.5 points per game. And Shakir had 5 targets, 5 catches for 54 last week before the blowout. Pretty much didn't get used, and neither did Kincaid. So I think Shakir would be my pick as well. So shifting over the Dennis family. Nice family, Dennis. Or no, I'm assuming that's the last name. Sorry.
God damn it.
Would you guys start JMO over Amari Cooper in the flex this week? I'll let you guys answer that first.
Yep. Yeah, I would. I've got Jamison Williams and some of my my early DFS lineups I'm putting together. Amon-Ra is a little banged up. I don't know what the latest is, if he's going to play or not. I apologize. I haven't seen that. I mean, I don't know if he's still up in the air, but either way, I would go Jameson Williams. I think Jared Goff bounces back. He had a miserable week 2 performance. But I think he gets right going up against the Arizona Cardinals. So yeah, give me Jameson Williams over Amari Cooper.
Matt?
Yeah, I'm in total agreement. And even with the bad game from Jared Goff,
Yeah.
he's still got crazy target numbers. He had 11 targets last week and 9 week 1. So I'm starting JMO and I'm rolling with him.
That's right.
Yep. Unfortunately, I don't disagree. The show is more fun when we do, but
Don't worry. We'll disagree on something.
yeah. Jonathan Santiago came here last night. I believe he sent us over a super chat. We appreciate
That's
you
right.
coming back around, spinning the block. He said, 3 wide receiver league. I have Stroud, Adams, Wilson, Ayuk, JSN, Worthy, Christian Watson, Gibbs, Dobbins, Brian Robinson, Javonte, Ray Davis. Tight ends are McBride and Bowers. Any moves you think I can make to upgrade? I think right off the bat, I mean, I would probably try to package Bowers maybe with like Worthy. I think Bowers and Worthy actually would be the 2 guys I would package up and maybe try to get an upgrade. Where you get that upgrade, you could probably, I mean, if maybe you're hedging if Dobbins
Running back,
falls off.
maybe.
Yeah, maybe you're hedging on that, but that would be who I would look to package up and upgrade for me.
Matt?
For
What
me,
says you, man?
it's probably Watson and Javonte. I mean, like I said earlier, I'm not a Javonte believer.
Okay.
Watson, with the Love injury, what's this offense going to look like? I'm pretty high on Jaden Reed, so
Sure.
I think if you take those 2 players, find a team that's kind of needy at both, give them some depth, you can add a solid running back, bolster that room.
Okay. Yeah, I'm
Cool.
totally okay with that too. I don't think you get as much, but I'm okay with that as well. I do think you're selling both of those guys pretty low right now. I think
Yeah.
Bowers is expendable just because you have McBride, but I can understand the level of thinking there. Jason D said hello, Jason. Haven't seen you
Hello,
in a little
Jason.
bit. Yeah, if
What's
you
up,
have any
sir?
questions, Jason, feel free to shoot it over. And if you're just hanging out, we appreciate you stopping by. We have about 30 people here on YouTube that are hanging out. If you're here, like the show, guys. If you're
yeah.
on Facebook, come over to YouTube. Give us a subscribe over there, or you can hang out on Facebook too. That's fine. We don't discriminate here. Do have a super chat from my buddy here, Hot Take City. He said, Nova,
Man,
what's up, man? Really
Mm.
appreciate you showing
this
some
guy's
love.
fucking popular over here, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate you showing some love and support and dropping in and donating to the show. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer. If you're just sending in a couple of bucks just to support us, we appreciate that as well. But if you have anything, let us know. I do want to get to Greg because he is a listener, and I want to make sure he gets his question answered. He said, in Dynasty, so we can give this one to Matt first. He said,
Mhm.
Dynasty, I offered Jaden Reed in the late 25 first for Laporta and got rejected. What do you think I need to get it done, or are you not trading Laporta this low at the moment?
I mean, for starters, I'm probably not moving Laporta as it stands. Is your offer low? I think the value's spot on. In my head, I usually look at things from startup values or kind of equate it to first round picks, and I usually have Laporta around 2 first round picks. So you're getting the first there. He's getting Reed, who I think's just around a first as well. But I think the situation is probably what killed this trade because he knows he's selling low on Laporta, and he also knows he's buying low on Reed as well with Love being out. So I'm not sure that you're really far off on the value. It's just bad timing more than anything.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd
I
make
can
a deal.
understand that.
Yeah.
I think it's a fair trade. I mean, anything more that you're giving at this point is probably an overpay, unless you're really looking. But Greg knows that you could always hit us up on Twitter. We'll be happy to give you a little extra advice there if you want us to help take a look at your lineup.
Also, by the way, I was
go
just gonna say, and I'm sorry you could read that, but I was just gonna say Jordan Love did practice today, limited, and he said he's
Saw that.
hopeful he can play. So I mean, that's something to keep an eye on. Finally,
Yeah,
some good
I can
news
see
in
that.
terms of injuries.
Yeah, well, we haven't gotten much.
Yeah.
We certainly have not gotten much. Connie Lasher said, "Love your advice and input. Thank you, guys. We appreciate that. Connie didn't send us in a question, but just seems like she's hanging out and
Again.
enjoying the show. So
Thanks for being here.
Oh wait, no, she did. She did. Hold
Oh,
on.
let's get to
Let me
it.
pull that up anyway. She said, "Should I start Jerome Ford or Zamir White this week? Thanks, guys." Oh God, that's
Well, no, I'll say I would start Zamir White. I didn't think that there would be a week in which I would say that this season, but I am
Okay.
finally saying it. I only noticed this again because I do a lot of DFS stuff. So I was looking at some running backs in that price range and started looking at White a little bit closer. And I mean, I like the matchup against Carolina. I think it's a good opportunity for him to, maybe have that, that pop game, and then he'll fall back by the wayside. But yeah, I like Zamir White this week.
Yeah, I didn't know who the matchup was. It's Carolina. I mean, Madison's more of the receiving back. He has got more touches, but maybe this is the game that they actually give Zamir a chance to show what he's done. I'm not in love with Zamir, but I
No,
think the
me neither.
Giants have a better front with Brian Burns and Dexter Lawrence. I think their defensive front's better than Carolina's is. So I think I'd roll the dice with Zamir because Donta Foreman's been getting more touches in that backfield as
I
well.
don't think the Raiders are in love with Zamir White either. So I mean, so you guys got something in common.
I think I might disagree with you guys.
Oh, here we
all
go.
right.
Finally. All
It's
right.
a
look
good
at
time
that.
for disagreement. So,
Yeah.
we've got 4
Yep. Go ahead.
with the Giants, and the Giants just let Brian Robinson run all over them. All over them. And I think I read this week that both the Browns tackles are going to be back, and those are two of the best tackles in the league. So this line is good. I'm going to roll with Ford.
That's fair.
Okay.
Conklin and Wirfs have been
Points.
out. Yeah, so that's fair. I didn't know they were coming back, but I could be swayed starting Ford. I mean, both these guys are in timeshares anyway.
True.
But I also would say, Carolina hasn't been that great against the
They're
run
awful.
either.
They're
Yeah.
I
awful
mean,
at
at
everything.
least just because I have DraftKings points up in front of me. So I mean, that's usually a PPR scoring system with DraftKings. I mean, the Panthers right now are allowing the 4th most points to opposing running backs through the first 2 weeks. So.
Yeah, but I mean, and Aaron Jones also had a pretty nice game against the Giants week 1 too, and so did Ty Chandler.
Yeah.
So maybe you're not too much in a bad spot.
I mean, there's a reason why she's asking the question because these two are close.
I mean, you're hoping for the touchdown, right?
Yeah,
obviously. Yeah,
that's
of
really what you're
course.
looking
Yep.
for.
Yep.
Pretty
That'll settle.
And if you're looking for the touchdown, then I mean, you might be going Ford because I don't think they have money unless Njoku's back. I mean, because they don't really have many other red zone weapons, though Donta Foreman's probably more of a goal line back than Ford.
I'm still going Zamir.
Yeah, I think I stay with Zamir too, but I can understand the argument.
It is close.
Greg said, "Thank you guys." We thank you.
Too.
My buddy Joe played college football with Joe. He said Pete is soft.
Is there anybody in here that's not a friend of Pete? In this, what are we doing here?
All the guys came and wanted.
Pete's doing this show to stroke his fucking ego. Yeah, that's it, man. That's it.
All right. Let's go back to madness here. He said, "Oh yeah, okay,
oh yeah."
Who do you like this week? Quarterback help: T. Law versus Buffalo, Geno versus Miami, Justin Herbert versus Pitt. I would say no on Herbert. He's banged up, didn't practice today. Geno's been phenomenal, and Miami's defense is. I would roll with Geno, who looks more comfortable in his system right now, over T-Law against Buffalo, who Buffalo's defense has been pretty good, man. Surprisingly out the gate this year. Didn't think much of them, but they've surprised me. So I would go Geno against Miami.
Matt, what says you, man?
I have defended the Jags for so long. I feel the need to say Trevor Lawrence. I don't want to, but I'm going to go with Trevor Lawrence here. I feel like this game's going to score some points. Yeah, I'd be screaming too with this situation, but I think they're going to score some points, and I expect it to be a little bit better. I mean, he's only scored like 13 to 15 fantasy points in the first 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah,
but
something like that.
It's not been great, but if he gets the touchdown, he's got the rushing upside. I'm afraid that Miami might not put up a lot of points, and that game could be over. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, all jokes aside about Trevor Lawrence, like I play the sound drop and funny haha. I do think that Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars offense will eventually they'll be better than what we've seen the first 2 weeks. They will. Are they going to be a great offense? I don't know. But just I have loved what I've seen out of Geno Smith. We all heard about the offensive coordinator coming in. And so far we're seeing good things. Right now Geno Smith is 6th in passing yards. I believe he's 9th in fantasy points. So he's doing something right over there. And I also look at this from the philosophy of we got Skylar Thompson playing for the Dolphins this week. It could be one of those situations in which if Skylar Thompson can't keep the offense on the field, we could enter a situation where the defense gets gassed and then Seattle just has their way with them. So I kind of look at it from that perspective as well. So I would go Geno. But I do think ultimately Lawrence turns around. Pete's just pulling up comments that are directed at him and just,
It's popular, man.
Vic,
very popular.
Vic is in the house. What's up, Vic? Another really great listener on the show. Guys, we really appreciate. I mean, we have so many comments in here. We'd love to get to everybody. We're at the 30-minute mark. We'll probably roll for about an hour, maybe a little bit longer than that. So keep it coming. We'll try to get to everybody as many of you guys as we can. Again, this is Matt's first show, so we're trying to go a little light on him. But we'll answer as much as we can as
we're going to start. No. I mean, the hazing is almost here, though. We're going to start throwing some jabs his way, and
please do.
Yeah. It's coming. It's coming.
Adam says traded Shaheed and Hunter Henry for Rice. I have McBride. I don't hate this deal at all.
Love it.
Yeah, I think he sees the opportunity there for sure. I don't have much to say about that, but good trade for you on that.
No, well done, sir. Well done.
Yeah. OCT said the emergence of JMO is a real concern. I feel this was in regards to his comment above that we got to, and this was to sell Laporta and Ford for Bowers. Yeah, I mean, look, JMO is going to be there, but I mean, Laporta's usage is not going to stay the same. There's just no way. He'll get there. Is he going to be the tight end that he was last year for fantasy? Probably not, but he still has top 8, which is scary to say. But if you look at the tight ends last year, guys, like the tight ends for weeks 1 and 2 last year, I might actually be able to pull that up. I can actually pull that up.
I will just say while you pull something up, I think part of the reason why people are panicking on Laporta is just when a lot of people started come back to fantasy football drafts, start to look at information, they saw a lot of people had Sam Laporta ranked as a tight end 1.
Yeah.
So they said, holy crap, tight end 1. Like, I'm in, Now you're seeing this, and is it going to be this bad all year? No, but I think people are a little shell-shocked as per what they thought they were going to get and what they've gotten thus far.
I agree. So we have a super chat. I'm going to get to you, Paul. Another.
Swear to God, if it's somebody saying they love Pete, I'm going to throw.
No, it's not Paul. It's not Paul. But I do want to bring this up because it is important. Go ahead. In the first 2 weeks of the season last year, Travis Kelce, was. I can't even find him. That's how bad he was.
Damn it, man.
Travis Kelce was tight end 20. Now he missed week 1. But the tight end 1 was Hawkinson. Tight end 2 was Hunter Henry. Evan Ingram. Laporta was 4 with Darren Waller, who's no longer playing football. Hayden Hurst was tight end 6. Zach Ertz, tight end 7. Logan Thomas tied with Kylan Granson as tight end 8. Cole Kmet, tight end 10. Dalton Kincaid, 11. Dawson Knox, 12. If you look at that collection of tight ends right now, there's only 3, if you add Kincaid, 3 guys that were drafted top 12 this year, and only 3 of those guys actually were in the top 12 last year when they finished. So, tight end's a weird position. These guys will get involved. The good players will find ways. George Kittle wasn't even in the top 12 in this. I'm
trying to think back to that last year.
George Kittle was tight end 25.
I think he came out of training camp with a little bit of an injury. I think he still played, but I think he was dinged up. I think, but I mean, either way, whatever. Who the hell, I'm just.
I mean, he absolutely could have been. The point is,
that happens.
don't put too much stock into it. Paul came in, and this is interesting because I have some thoughts on this specifically about DJ Moore. He said thoughts on getting DJ Moore. It's been average so far. He traded Brian Thomas Jr., who's been consistent. Did pick up CMC today. Think he'll be out for the year. I don't think so, Paul. Don't worry about that. And he traded Jalen Waddle. I think that's a phenomenal trade because by the time Tua Tagovailoa comes back, CMC may be back, and you might, CMC will be at his value when he comes back. And I don't think Waddle during the stretch that CMC is out is going to be that effective for you in fantasy. So I think that's a great trade. And as for DJ Moore, look, I did a write-up on him today, but he's wide receiver 36 on the year. Consistently, he's got 10 points and 11 points. That's a flex play, right? You didn't draft him to be a flex player. He's got a really good matchup against the Colts this week, and his schedule is very favorable in the next 4 or 5 weeks. They played really tough matchups. DJ Moore went up against L'Jarius Sneed and Derek Stingley, two of the better young corners in the NFL the first 2 weeks. He was a fade for me the first 2 weeks for those reasons, but I'm still buying him because he's talented and they're finding ways to go to him. And look, Roma Dunze, either he wasn't healthy last week or he's just not ready. He didn't look great. And that was without Keenan Allen. And so Keenan Allen might not even, we don't know what's going on. He might be out this week too. So I think it's a good trade. I like Brian Thomas Jr., but DJ Moore is the better player right now and for the rest of the season, in my opinion.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think DJ Moore, his lack of production was just a product of the situation. I mean, if you go back and watch, there was nobody open in that Bears game. I mean, Stingley was all over him. That defense played lights out. So there's better days ahead for DJ Moore. I have no fear in throwing him in my lineup going forward. Like you said, 2 bad matchups. He's going to be good going forward. He's a focal point of the offense. So I think you stick with him. He'll be fine.
And I agree, but I'll just speak on the whole. Saying think he'll be out for the year. I don't think he'll be out for the year. I just think it's one of those things where we have to look at it through a lens where the Niners are thinking about it from an NFL perspective, and we're all thinking about it from a fantasy football perspective. They'd like to not have to rush Christian McCaffrey back. I mean, now with the Debo, they're probably getting a little squirmish there, getting a little nervous. But I think this weekend will be telling as to how panicked the 49ers get. But I don't think CMC is out for the year. I just think that they're playing the long game, Yeah, and I do love talking about my Niners. And I don't have Anthony here, so I can just talk about it all fucking day if I want to.
I think that's a good point, though, is they're not going to rush him back if they don't have to. Like, if this team's winning ball games, they'll keep him on the bench and let him stay there, get healthy, and come back and dominate for the playoffs.
Yeah. So we'll see.
That's fair. All right. Well, we're still here. Guys, like the show if you're listening. We appreciate that. I do want to get back to Hot Take, who did send a super chat in, but didn't send a question and then came back in. I do want to also say Greg said Pete's the real MVP. Just wanted to get that in. And we do have to pull this question because Hot Take said he did send in a super chat and said, due to P. Ryan Foreman for the flex, he lost Cup and CMC. I know it's ugly, but we are here. I'm only here for Pete. Listen, it's ugly,
man.
It's ugly for a lot of people. I wouldn't be too down on yourself. A lot of people are dealing with that stuff, but hey, look, good news is Cup ain't going on IR right now as it stands. So that's good news, at least with that. But this year's been weird. So maybe he gets thrown on IR next week. Who the hell knows? But as for these 3 guys, I think I'm starting P. Ryan. I mean, I'm starting Foreman. I was going to say
P. Ryan.
Yeah, I think I'm starting Foreman. Who does P. Ryan play? The Chiefs are playing.
Chiefs are what the hell was it? Damn it, I just had. Oh, Falcons, and that's on Sunday Night Football. That is in Atlanta.
Yeah,
I could see P. Ryan being sneaky. Only because everyone's talking about steal. Steal this, steal that, steal that, and I agree.
Stop the steal, baby. Stop the steal.
I agree, but I do think that there's an opportunity there for P. Ryan to just kind of sneak in there, or you know what, to vulture a touchdown, which will piss off everybody. which
It's
is
true.
what happens a lot in fantasy. So I could see that happening. I think I'd go P Ryan here. I'll also just say with the disclaimer, like you're not expecting a ton out of any one of these three.
No, I'm closing my eyes and playing Foreman. The same reason I said earlier with Ford. They
Yeah.
ran all over him last week. Offensive line could be back, so I'm hoping for the touchdown. I don't want to play the game with the Chiefs backfield, and I don't want to play the game with the Rams wide receivers.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I mean, Foreman played 1 snap week 1 and then 38% of the snaps week 2. 27 snaps to Ford's 32, just 5 less. And he looked pretty good last week, and he's got a pretty good matchup. I think you're just hoping that he falls into the end zone, and game script should be fine. I mean, the only thing I'd worry about is if they get behind, Ford's the receiving back, but I'm not really worried about this Giants offense putting up points to the point where they have to chase and throw the football. 2 more super chats coming in here. Brandon said, give McBride for Laporta and Reed. Hold on. It's a little jumbled up here, Brandon. Give McBride. So he's giving McBride and getting Laporta and Reed. I don't know if this is dynasty. I'm going to say it's not because there's no picks involved. So let's assume redraft. So he's giving McBride and he's getting Laporta and Reed. I like Laporta and Reed side there as somebody who's
So do I.
loves Trey McBride this year. Love Trey McBride. My tight end 2 on the year pre-season. But I think Laporta and Reed for me.
Yeah, I'm the exact same. If it's dynasty, then yeah, we can flip it. But assuming redraft, I'm going with Laporta and Reed.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, I mean, for what it's worth, strength of schedule wise, I want to say they're pretty close in strength of schedule. Let's see. Strength of schedule. Yeah, I mean, there's not really a big difference between the two. Laporta is about, McBride's like 8th, Laporta's like 13. It's not a big enough difference for me. So I'm making that deal. And then B-Rob for B-Rob and Waddle for Nico. That depends on the running back situation. If you can afford to give Brian Robinson up, who I love this year, he was one of my guys. I would do this for Nico, but keep in mind something's going on with Nico. Didn't practice today and did not get hurt in the game and didn't pop up on the injury report all week. Didn't log a practice today, so I would hold off to see what the injury report is tomorrow if you can for this deal. But if you're comfortable with your running back room, I'm taking Nico 9 times out of 10 here.
Matt, what about you?
Yeah, I think I'm in agreement. I'd want to look to see what the Nico news is, but Nico's the best player in the deal. Give me him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same here.
Cool.
And I think whatever's going on with Nico today, I think whatever's going on with Nico today, it's probably not anything too crazy.
Yeah, I maybe a Veterans Day off or something like that. You never know, but
never know.
Hot Take City said, thanks, guys. 4 minute is. Matt, you're a good dude. Pete is just a legend. Appreciate
this
you coming.
Nothing for you, Michael. Back of the line.
You know what?
Back of the line.
I'm going to get a drink. I'll be right back. That's how this is happening.
Swift came in with a super chat, said, hey, guys, good show. Matt's doing great. Doing his pickups right now. Said Steele or Hunt higher. So Kareem Hunt or Steele, which one would you guys have higher? And would you put Cam Akers above the 3 of them? I'll let Matt take it since he gave you a compliment.
Hey,
I'll let you go
thanks,
first.
Swift. I appreciate it. I think I said it earlier. This Chiefs backfield is just something that I don't really love trying to guess. I think I'm going to go Steele over Hunt just because I think Hunt's washed. So that's where I'd be there. Would I put Cam Akers above both of them? Man, that's tough.
That is tough.
I think it might depend on what I'm trying to get or what I need. But I think I might go with Steele here. Which, I don't know. I don't feel great about any of that, though.
Crazy enough, I go Cam Akers. I never thought I'd be saying Cam Akers. I have a waiver claim in for him tonight in a 14-man league where I am just desperate.
So is this part of you trying to talk yourself into it being
a little
okay?
bit? Maybe a little bit. But quite honestly, Mixon didn't play today, and in a perfect world, if Mixon is not playing, right? If I needed one guy to start this week and Mixon's out, which he didn't practice today, and I'm going with Cam Akers. That's a great offense. I think they've been using Mixon in the slot too sometimes. Like I go Mixon, it'll hurt. I mean, I'm sorry, I go Akers. It'll hurt when Mixon comes back. But man, I don't know. I'm getting this vibe by Akers that if Mixon's out, I think he's going to be really good, man. I don't know. And I just don't know what to make with Steele and Hunt. I would have Steele, of course, ahead of Hunt. If they liked Hunt, they wouldn't have signed Pete Ryan off of waivers. They would have went with Hunt first, in my opinion.
Pete,
So,
I got a question for you. Does your mindset change, and how much does it change if Mixon's cleared and he's playing?
It does. Yeah, if it does, then Steele moves to the top of the line. For me, if you're looking at this for like a rest of season and you need a guy that you're taking rest of the year, it's Steele. But if you're looking at like, hey, I'm 0-2 and I need to win this week, I'm picking up Cam Akers and I'm rolling the dice in case Mixon doesn't play. Because he could be limited too, but I would go with Akers if you need a win this week. And and unfortunately, you just don't know. We haven't gotten enough. They haven't said he's doubtful. He just didn't practice. But in my opinion, I'm operating that Mixon's not playing this week. Hoff, what about you?
I would go Steele. Slightly over Cam Akers. I get what you're saying that if there is no Joe Mixon, which by the way, I still don't know how they talk about hip drop tackles all off season and that doesn't get a flag, but whatever, be that as it may. I do think I go Steele here. I don't know if because Matt, I still heard you when I was getting up to get a beer because I got these headphones on. I don't know if Hunt is necessarily washed. I don't know if he's washed, but I'd still take Steele. I just don't know if Hunt's washed, though. I don't know.
For me, it's just I've seen it the last few years, and
yeah,
maybe it's my dynasty mindset coming out of me, but
maybe the time off, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe that hurts him. I don't know.
That's fair. I just want to say I just hit a 3-team parlay.
Oh, very nice.
So I'm pretty happy. Plus 600 odds on that from Betalytics, the partner that I tool
8,000 on it. What'd you put on?
Well, it's the partner it's the tool that I partner with. If you're interested and you do bet, let me know. I can get you a discount, 25% off of their tool. But it was their parlay of the day, and plus 600 odds just hit. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. And my friend Valdez play of the day on Twitter just hit as well. So feeling pretty good. I got Phillies on the money line. And I got Juan Soto hits, runs, and RBIs over 1.5. So we will see.
As long as you're mentioning the Phillies, the Mets are crushing right now. They're up 9-0 right now.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh,
well, listen, don't worry about it. They're not catching your Phillies. I just need a wild card spot. That's all I need, buddy.
I'm gonna let you pull. Why don't you or Matt? Why don't you pull the next few questions? In terms of where I left off.
Oh yeah.
You can scroll. You're gonna have to scroll up here. Scott Peterson, J2 Nice, KJ Frederick. Go to KJ Frederick. Pull his question, and then go down from there.
I see KJ Frederick here. Let's see. Is this the one you're talking about? KJ Frederick?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Friend of the show, KJ. We appreciate you coming in, man.
All right, so KJ's asking, is it too much of a risk to sit Mike Evans going up against Patrick Surtain and play either Juwan Jennings or Deontay Johnson instead? Full point per reception. He's starting Garrett Wilson as his wide receiver one. I get the fear of starting a guy that's going up against Patrick Surtain. I 1,000% get it, but I also, when you're telling me it's Juwan Jennings or Deontay Johnson with Andy Dalton at quarterback, I will say selfishly, I do have a DFS stack this week I'm putting out there. That'll be Andy Dalton, and it'll be Adam Thielen only because I'll put it in a Millie Maker lineup and see if I could just, roll the dice and hit it. But I think whatever Evans gives you, even if it is dwarfed because of the coverage, I think it's more than what you'll get if you start Juwan Jennings or Deontay Johnson. So it's going to be ugly. You seem to know that. That's why you're asking the question, but I would go Mike Evans still. Matt, what about you, man?
Yeah, I'm in complete agreement. I think you have to play Evans. Juwan Jennings, that could be easily a goose egg. And then Deontay Johnson. I like Deonta, but I just don't think that I want to mess with the Panthers right now. There's just it's a mess down there. Everything is. Is it going to be Thielen being the guy? Is it going to be Johnson being the guy? I don't know. I really don't.
I think that first game, I think Dalton leans on Thielen just because it's the veteran. It's it's that whole thing. Whatever.
Yeah,
That's why I think he leans. I would not be surprised if Thielen's the most targeted pass catcher in Carolina this weekend.
And let's not forget too, Chris Godwin's going off for the Bucks too.
Mhm.
So he could draw some attention.
I've said it 1,000 times during these shows. They've been putting him in the slot more often. Then they said that was their goal this year with Godwin, because last year they was barely in the slot and it was a bad year. So yeah, no, I like it. All right, let's go to Jay Too Nice. He's also asking, would you take Mike Evans out for Shaheed, which is what he asked earlier. Did we answer that, Matt? Will we take out Mike Evans for Shaheed?
I think we had a different question where we got to pick between a couple people that had Evans and Shaheed in there. So I don't think we had specifically just these two.
This is one instance where I think I would, though.
I was about to say, I think this is where I make the switch.
Sure. All right, cool. So we're in agreement there. I mean, we talked a bunch about Shaheed. Yeah. All right, let's go to Brandon over on the YouTube. Trade question. How do you feel about trading away? Did we get this? I think we got this already. Yeah, we got this already.
Earlier.
We did. We got this, and we said we liked the Laporta and the Jaden Reed side.
Yeah, he sent it, and then he must have been tired of waiting for us because we kept talking that he must have sent it a super.
Well, I mean, we answered it again, so there you go.
Look at that.
Are you? I'll pull the next question here. It's coming from
keep
Seabass.
Keep rolling.
You keep rolling, damn it! I think we had Seabass yesterday, actually.
We did.
Yeah, we did. Trade London and Dobbins for Jamar Chase and Blake Corum. He says, I have Kyron. Matt, I see you're all wide-eyed there, so I'm assuming you're going to want to take a crack at this. So are you trading Drake London and J.K. Dobbins for Jamar Chase and Blake Corum? What says you, sir?
I have to eat the crow a little bit here on Dobbins. I doubted him. I wasn't sure that he was going to be anything.
Me and Pete too. So yeah.
And I've been blown away by how well he's performed so far. So it's crazy to sit here and think that someone's trading Jamar Chase away. Like, that's a tough thought to realize in week 3.
Yeah.
So man, I don't know. Well, that's tough.
I don't think I make the deal. I'm getting sick saying that, but I don't think I make the deal. I think Drake London is going to give you more of what you saw in week 2 as opposed to what you saw in week 1. I think that's one thing. And Dobbins, I don't know how long he could do this for, but I feel like if you already have Kyron and then Blake Corum is there, I don't know. Then are you running into a situation if one of them's healthy, the other one's injured? Do you have an IR spot if one of them's on the IR? Then you're kind of wasting a roster spot. You're burning one. Jamar Chase, I know he'll get it going with this offense, but I mean, this Bengals offense looks lost right now. Absolutely lost. And I get it. If Jamar Chase has a good week, maybe this offer's not out there anymore. But I would be willing to run that risk.
Yeah, and I think too is with Dobbins, the way he's been performing, you might be able to take those same players and get someone better than Corum, where you can actually add points to your roster as opposed to just throwing them on the bench or netting nothing.
Yeah, no, I would agree. All right.
So I selfishly have
you're back. Oh, all right.
I have a question. Sorry, I'm.
Yeah.
All right. So I made a trade today.
Oh,
why don't I be a little selfish here? I made a trade today in a 14-man half PPR league. Now, my wide receivers are stacked. My team is Kyler. My running backs are terrible. Rashad White, Jaleel McLaughlin. Those are my RB1 and 2s.
Yep, that's
14-man league. Now, it's a 14-man league, and it is auction.
Sure.
But my wide receivers are Marv, Nico, Marv.
I think I remember this draft.
Yeah, Marv, Nico, DJ Moore, Brian Thomas Jr. So those are my big four. I had Ladd on the bench, and then my other running backs are like Jalen Wright, Ray Davis, like piss, and then I had George Kittle, and so I traded Ladd for Austin Eckler. I mean,
Oh my
I
God, did you
felt
tell
pretty.
Anthony that yet?
I did, but he didn't see. I felt pretty gross about it. I felt like I had to take a shower. I mean, but Eckler, look, he's been solid.
That's funny.
I just needed a freaking fresh body out there, man, because I mean, I couldn't sit here and trot out Jaleel, and with the Rashad White, I couldn't even get Bucky Irving for freaking Ladd straight up.
Wow.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's tight in a 14-man league. Like nobody wants to give up any running back. So, I was going to get fleeced if I gave up anybody outside of Ladd. So, I just said, let me just try to send Ladd to anybody that will entertain it. And I got the deal done, but I didn't feel good about it.
Eckler's looked okay though. I mean, he really has.
Yeah.
It's not the best offense in the world, but all
Hey,
things
that's fine.
considered, I mean,
Bad defense. I mean, you figure he'll catch passes.
and we all roasted him last year because he looked like he didn't have the juice or have the speed. Let's not forget he returned the opening kickoff back for a touchdown that got called back for a hold. So he's got some juice. I think there's a world where he's okay.
Boom.
Yeah, he looked
Roasted.
pretty solid. Oh, God. Okay. All right.
What? Listen, you played the porn music earlier. I can play around.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'm jumping out of order here on comments, but I'm grabbing Paul because I believe Paul was on Facebook, then came to YouTube.
Yeah. Paul definitely hops around. Yeah, he hops around.
He sent us in a super chat, so I'm going to go ahead and give him another answer to another question. He said, one more, guys, say something positive about Tank Dell and Keon Coleman moving forward. As always, thank you. Keon Coleman, I got nothing positive to say about him. Tank Dell, brighter days are ahead.
What is this now?
Brighter days are ahead for Tank Dell. It's been frustrating for him, but I think he's going to be fine. Just bear with him. Keon Coleman, I have nothing positive to say about him yet. I didn't love him coming out. He's looked bad so far, and I don't know. I can't. I don't know when that. If he may be fantasy relevant 6 times, maybe a wide receiver 2 this year, in my opinion, and that might be generous. Tank Dell should be in a wide receiver 2 at least 6-7 times this year, in my opinion. I know it's been a tough start, but he's going to be okay. You guys?
Well, I'm actually going to give this to Matt because since we're talking about Keon Coleman, that is a rookie, and Matt is a dynasty guy. So
yeah,
go ahead, have at it.
It's funny you mentioned that. So I was talking with Pete earlier, and we were thinking about some buy sells in dynasty. Keon Coleman was actually a sell for me. I faded him in rookie drafts. I think I have 1 share, and I just lucked into him getting it at like the 208, so I had to take him. I just don't think it's going to be a great year for him. It's going to be a lot of struggles.
Is it about the fit with the offense or is it about him in general?
I think it's both. I really think it's both. I think Shakir is going to be the leader of this wide receiver room. I think that Kincaid's going to have better days ahead too. And I also think the Bills just can run the ball. And they're going to establish the run. And Josh Allen's going to be Josh Allen. James Cook is going to run all over the place. But I'll bring some positive news here, and I will say that I have no worries about Tank Dell. I have bought him in every dynasty league I can. So I can't say enough nice things about him. Last year, he was stride for stride with Puka prior to him getting hurt.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it was. Yeah. That was hard.
So you think he's going to be okay? Forgetting dynasty, you think he's going to be okay the rest of the year for redraft? Or
yeah, I definitely think Nico's the one in this offense, but I do think that every guy in this offense is going to have their day because they're that good.
Yeah.
I'm not too worried about Diggs. His route running hasn't been down the field. Tank Dell is down the field. When he catches one of those, it's going to be a big day for you.
Yeah. And I'll just say, just because Paul X and none of you would, I'll just say Keon Coleman seems like a nice guy.
He does seem like a good guy. He's got some good interviews.
Hey, nice guys finish last, they say, Hoff. Come on.
Here we go with this shit, man. Jeez, you're on fire today, man. A couple people come in here and comment you. You win a parlay, all of a sudden you start mouthing off, man. I got to get the Borat soundtrack next. King of the Castle. That's coming. That's on the way.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
let's throw Greg a bone here. I'm looking for it, but
I got you, buddy.
I don't know if
I
we
got
have
you.
it anymore.
Oh, we have it. Please don't have it. We have it.
I can't find it. Somebody must. There you go.
Oh, we always have it, Greg. Greg, that's never going anywhere. Whenever the Blue Oyster music leaves the show, that's when I leave the show. That's what happens.
So you're leaving?
Only if the song gets deleted. If that song gets deleted from StreamYard, then I'm out of here. That's it.
Fair enough.
A man has a code.
That's right.
That is a good point. That is a good point. All right, we got a lot of questions still. I mean, I'm good to hang out for a little bit longer. I don't know about you guys.
Sure.
I'm good for another 5-10 minutes or whatever. I'm good for
whatever. Yeah. You
chilling.
say uncle and we'll wrap up.
Yes, ma'am.
I do want to get to Misfit because he's been in here as well. It's been a little bit since he asked the question, but hopefully you're still here. He said, "How are we feeling about Deontay Johnson for flex, picking up over Scary Terry this week?" So I'm assuming he's picking up Deontay, who somebody dropped him. Which, look, guys, that's very possible in some leagues.
Sure.
People are off of Deontay with all the injuries. I can definitely see a world where that happens, even in 12-man. But over Scary Terry this week, I got to see the matchups.
We got Terry McLaurin
Vegas.
at Cincinnati. Yeah, Terry McLaurin at Cincinnati, and we already said Deontay is at Las Vegas.
Yeah. I'll let you guys look at it first.
I would go slightly with Terry McLaurin. I get it. Jane Daniels has not done a great job at targeting his wide receivers in the first 2 weeks. It's been a little touch and go.
Yeah.
But at the same time, what have you seen from the Carolina Panthers to say, well, I feel much more comfortable going with Deontay Johnson? I think you are in a kind of a pick your poison scenario-ish, even though I like Terry McLaurin more. I see more potential. I see a higher ceiling there. I even see a lower floor. So, I mean, I'm going Terry McLaurin here, and I'm not really thinking too hard about it.
Yeah, this is Terry pretty easily for me. Week 1 was a disappointment. He only had the 4 targets, but he was also about a foot away from having a 60-yard touchdown. So I think his day changes there. Week 2, he had 8 targets, 6 catches, not a lot of yards. So it's not been great, but I think the offense knows that it has to feed Terry McLaurin. If they're going to be successful, they have to be able to throw the ball.
And we probably feel more optimistic, by the way. Sorry, Pete, but we probably feel more optimistic about how Jaden Daniels has looked over, say, Caleb Williams, right?
And I
go with that.
Yeah, I think they're easing him into the offense. It's been a lot of easy targets with bubbles and screens and just things in the flats, nothing really down the field. But I think eventually they're going to have to open it up, and that's Terry McLaurin in this offense. There's nobody else.
Yeah, that's fair. By the way, Misfits must still be here because he sent the same question in about 3 minutes later, pretty much as we pulled it up. So perfect timing. Look, Bengals have been stingy against wide receivers. I will say that the first 2 weeks, but granted, they played against the Patriots week 1. It's not like they have a very great receiving core, and the game script led them to running a lot, the Patriots. And then they played against the Chiefs, who they're without Hollywood Brown. And Mahomes just didn't look good at all. For some reason, Mahomes seems to not be the best against the Bengals. So yeah, I'm going Terry in a game that I think this is high scoring. I think the Redskins are going to have to chase here a little bit, and I think
Randers. Whoa, easy.
Yeah,
man.
Hey, watch it. Watch it.
Sorry.
Jesus, man.
Bing bang, bing bang.
All right. Greg says, has Pete even seen Police Academy? He's just a kid. Yes, Greg. I haven't. Can't say I've sit and watched the show, and Matt probably hasn't either. But I have seen.
It's movies.
Whatever. I have seen the scene when they're in the
movie.
bar. I've seen it when they're in the bar.
I haven't seen the television program yet. Yeah.
Fuck off.
I'll check Netflix after I'm done.
It's probably not on. It might be on fucking.
It's right next to his game he was trying to get earlier.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Roll off the fucking DVR to watch that shit. All right.
keep reading. Hey, keep reading. Fine.
There's just so many questions, guys. I mean, resend in your questions if you have them. I don't know who to pick from if we scroll all the way up. So I'm just going to answer people that are still here. So just if you've been waiting, just resend it in because I don't want to answer questions for people that aren't here that asked them like 20 minutes ago. Joseph Fitness sent this in 3 minutes ago. So we'll start here. He said, oh, I'm sorry, William Stevenson. We'll get to you soon. Joseph said, trade away Jamison Williams and Zeke, receive Brian Robinson, 10-team full PPR. And he said 10-team again.
Yeah. I think that depends on what your wide receivers look like. But if your wide receivers are fine after trading Jamison Williams away, I would absolutely take Brian Robinson. It's a clear upgrade over Zeke for sure, 1,000%.
Matt?
Total agreement.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to answer this just without the context. If your receivers are good, I love Brian Robinson. I had him, I think I had him in my top 18 for my preseason rankings. He was one of my guys in my article that I released that I wanted to target in the outside the top 100. I like Brian Robinson a lot this year. I think he's one of the more underrated backs. Look, it's tough though. Jamison Williams, probably a top 25 wide receiver, potentially eyeing top 20. I'm not there yet, but I think top 25 is pretty okay to start saying at this point. But if your receivers are good, I'm cool with rolling with that. Brunson said thoughts on trading Bowers for Jacobs. They have Kincaid.
Sure. If you have Kincaid, then then I would do that. Sure. I'm assuming you're doing that, Brunson, because you need a running back. Yeah, I would do it.
Yeah.
Matt?
The only thing I'd maybe think about doing is exploring if I can get Kincaid for a running back. But, I mean, we're splitting hairs here, so I'm fine with it if you need it.
So let's talk about it then. So are you worried about Kincaid? Is there a world where you think that Bowers finishes better this year than Kincaid, or are you just, what's the thought process there?
My thought process is I am not worried about Kincaid. I have that much of a conviction on Bowers. I think he's that good. I think he's going to dominate for the next several years. I mean, he is that good, guys.
Man.
Okay. All right.
Gotta get you on here with Anthony, Matt. Holy shit. Good.
Well,
I like that.
Anthony hates Brock Bowers.
Well, we'll team up.
Well, Anthony and Hoff, so we do pizza bets here, and Anthony and Hoff have a bet that Bowers will finish ahead of Goddard, which doesn't look too good for Goddard right now.
Yep.
And I don't think it's going to continue. They don't that offense in Philly. They blamed the coordinator last year for them not using the middle of the field enough, and they're doing the same thing. I think it's a Jalen Hurts thing, in my opinion, but that's another conversation for a different time.
Suck it, Anthony.
Yeah, well, T Zench, and by the way, everyone followed the rules and started sending in a bunch of questions again, so we appreciate that.
All right, and we'll get to them. Yes.
T Zench said, "Would you trade Chase and Connor for Nico and JT? Full PPR AR owner, I would do that. Yeah.
Yes, I would do that.
Matt, yeah, okay. I don't even need to know what the other running backs are. It doesn't matter to me.
Exactly.
Agreed.
Don't matter.
Steve 562 waiver availability. P. Ryan, Gabe Davis, Roma Dunze available, and potential drops would be Corum, Justice Hill, and Hunt. I'm dropping Hunt first, and then I would drop Hunt. Gabe Davis has been good, man. I would pick up Gabe Davis. That'd be my first priority over the 3, just for the utilization. And then I would actually target a Dunze before P. Ryan. I would be comfortable dropping Justice Hill, and then I would hold on to Corum and leave P. Ryan on the waivers.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
Okay. Rashawn said, should I move Jacobs and Dell for Garrett Wilson or Connor and Dell for Marvin Harrison Jr.?
Ooh.
Okay, so the Dell for Marvin Harrison's a separate.
It could be either or. I'm assuming he can package up.
He's saying okay.
Yeah, he could do either deal. So,
wow. I mean, I would.
I think it's pretty obvious for me, but I'd like
Let's
to hear
hear it,
what you
Pete.
guys think. I think Connor and Dell for Harrison. I love James Conner. He's an older
Yeah.
back. There is worry there at some point that he'll miss time. And I think honestly, like I think Marvin Harrison Jr. rest of the season over Garrett Wilson isn't the craziest thing in the world to say. And I'd rather have Jacobs over Connor. So that would be my thinking there.
Do you have concern with Wilson going forward?
I don't have concern with him. I think that offense is going to take time to click. But you're splitting hairs between Garrett and Marvin Harrison Jr. and Jacobs. I think is a pretty clear upgrade over Connor, in my opinion. So I don't know, you guys. What do you think?
I actually feel the same as you. I mean, I would go the Marvin Harrison route. I like Marvin Harrison. I think we saw just a glimpse of what he could be in that first quarter or that first half.
Yeah.
And I think there's more of that to come. So yeah, I would feel more than comfortable going that way.
Yeah, I like Marvin Harrison too.
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's see what else. Oh, well, it looks like Will was helping answering some people in the chat. We appreciate that. So by the way, I'm here for Pat, Hoff, and Matt. I think he meant Pete, but you know what? I'll leave that off.
He definitely meant Pat. He definitely meant Pat. We don't know who the fuck Pat is, but he meant Pat.
Shit.
Chat somewhere.
Yeah. All right. Well, more questions piling up. I'm gonna go for Will here. He said, "What's our DEFCON level for pits? DEFCON 5 being the least severe. DEFCON 1, someone just launched a nuke."
I'll say this. I'll say this. If Kyle Pitts cannot succeed this weekend against the Kansas City Chiefs, and I know that sounds weird to say because you hear Kansas City Chiefs and you think Super Bowl champions, dynasty, all this fun stuff. If he can't succeed, then it's a DEFCON 1 because they've been gashed. And I always do the DraftKings. I have DraftKings numbers in front of me. They have given up 30 or more points in each of the first 2 weeks to tight ends. I mean, and not to mention, no disrespect to Mike Gesicki. I like Mike Gesicki. I really do. But I said this in the group chat earlier today. If you're Kyle Pitts, who everybody has absolutely loved since he came out of the University of Florida, said he's just generational tight end. If you go in to play the Kansas City Chiefs the week after Mike Gesicki just had his way with them, and if you put up a dud, I'm sorry, that's a DEFCON 1. Then if he can't succeed this year, fucking forget about it. So, yeah.
Matt, what do you think?
I'm going to go with if he doesn't succeed this week, then we're going to move it to a DEFCON 2. I'm not ready to full abort. I mean, he had the touchdown week 1. I get the numbers were bad, but let's not forget Kirk Cousins
wide
played
open
awful.
touchdown, though.
Yeah, it was.
You could have caught that. I could have caught that.
I didn't even see it. Did he drop a touchdown this week?
No.
Just week 1.
Week 1. He had the touchdown.
That wide open one.
Yeah.
I mean, my 12-year-old could have caught that, and she doesn't even know how to hold a football. But I mean, she would have done it.
I think there's better days for the Falcons. They're going to get better.
I agree.
So I'm not ready to panic, but I am a little concerned. I'm sweating.
I think we saw snippets of at least the offense, the Falcons' offense, during that second half on Monday night.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I agree. Guys, we have a lot. We're gonna hang out here and answer some more. I don't got much to do, so I'm cool to hang out. But I do want to say we got 19 likes on the show. We have about 20 million comments. So give us a like with those fat thumbs, fat fingers, and I'm only saying that because Will's in the house. So I just I know he said he's got fat fingers. That's why he typed in Pat instead of Pete. So if you haven't liked the show, especially you, Will, use those fat fingers and give us a like.
Roasted.
There you go. All right, so let's keep rolling along here. Darius says, I have Tyreek Adams, Devonta Smith with JMO, DJ Moore on the bench. Should I elevate JMO in for Tyreek or Adams? This is interesting. I am going to let you guys go first, but I think I know what I would do.
Since you're the newbie, I'm going to make you go first.
Okay. Should I elevate JMO in for Tyreek or Adams? Oof. I feel like I'm going to do it. He's had the targets the first 2 weeks, so I'm going to put JMO in there, and I'm going to ride the wave.
Yeah, I think, yeah. I think I would do it as well, and I think I would do it over Adams. Personally speaking, yeah, I think I put him in there.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, against Carolina, actually, maybe not. Maybe
Yeah, I was
DJ
gonna
Moore.
say, against Carolina,
Let me back
Quentin
up. Let me
Johnson
back
just
up.
scored
Let
2
me,
touchdowns
let me
against
back
them.
up. Let me back up.
Yeah.
No, all right, but I am I am gonna get JMO in there.
Yeah. I'm with you guys. JMO, Arizona, really good matchup. I need to see it with Skylar Thompson. In most cases, you probably don't have a better swap in for Tyreek Hill. In this specific scenario, I'm okay going JMO in a good matchup, for sure. Here, God, you guys are sending in so many questions,
That's a
man.
good point too. Most leagues you probably don't have that good of a swap, but
No,
So,
probably not. Steve said, "Thanks, guys. Also, start Pittman, JSN, JMO, Worthy, Waddle, bench Waddle for me. God, I wish I could say bench Pittman because I freaking hate this guy.
I would bench Pittman. I think I have Caleb Williams as a sit for me this week, and I get it. In some leagues, he was damn near droppable, but
Yeah.
If you're in like a 2 QB league or anything of that point or super flex, whatever, I would not play Caleb Williams this week. I don't like it. They are going up against well, actually, I'm sorry. I was saying Anthony Richardson I would sit. I apologize because they are playing the Bears. I would sit Anthony Richardson this week. I don't like Anthony Richardson this week. The Bears defense has been very underrated. We've seen a lot of turnovers from Anthony Richardson. We've seen a lot of bad passing. The completion percentage is absolutely abysmal right now. The only way he's going to generate any kind of points is with his legs, and that's not going to help Michael Pittman. So I would be comfortable saying I would sit Michael Pittman out of these, and I would sit Waddle as well.
Matt?
yeah, I'm with you. I'm sitting Pittman. We've spent a lot of time, myself and Coach over at the Mediators. We've spent a lot of time talking about Richardson, and he's played awful. There's no way around it. I think he's got 4 picks on the year. It probably should be
Yeah,
8.
I think so.
It should be 8.
That completion
Yeah,
percentage is
it should
abysmal
be.
too.
Yeah, so I'm sitting Pittman and I'm sitting Waddle, and I'll roll with the other 3.
And spoiler alert, because I was mouthing off about Caleb Williams, I actually hate both quarterbacks in this matchup. I think this is a defensive game.
Yeah,
Yeah, Chicago's defense is good, man. I know
Yeah.
Hoff likes them this week. Yeah, I'm with you. JSN, JMO, Worthy, fuck it, just light that shit up and pray because I'm just not a big Pittman fan. And look, my concerns. Me and Anthony fought a lot this offseason about Richardson, and I got a lot of shit for it. But the accuracy concerns were valid, and obviously the legs we knew would be there. But I mean, when it's bad, it's gonna be bad for them.
Right.
When things are rolling, they're gonna roll. But when it's bad, you can only get so far with those legs. So there is concern there.
That is, and then I know we're gonna get to other questions, but I was
Yeah.
just gonna really quick is just like week 1, we saw he actually had a worse completion percentage in week 1 than he did in week 2. But yeah, cock ball, absolutely. Yeah, but his legs made up for the difference. So to your point,
Yeah.
his legs can't always make up for the difference, and they didn't in week 2, and I don't think they do it in week 3 either. So yeah.
Hey, Kyler Murray
going?
Kyler was my quarterback 5 ahead of Richardson. Richardson actually dropped behind Stroud for me. I think he ended up my quarterback 7 once the final rankings went
You
out.
talk about pre-draft?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. All right, let's try to bang through these quickly. We won't give you much analysis, guys. We're just gonna go ahead and just rip through them. Jose said, Shakir or Cooks, should I bench Ayuk or give him another chance? Should I pick up Gesicki? I'm still here. Good, glad you're still here, Jose.
You don't.
Yeah, pick up Gesicki if you have a roster spot. Drop Cooks for Shakir, in my opinion, and you're
not
starting.
benching Ayuk though.
I mean, you're starting Ayuk. Yes.
yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Joseph came back. He said wide receiver room is CeeDee Lamb, Ayuk, Godwin, London. I think this is just giving us more context from
more
before
context. Yeah.
for the Brian Robinson trade.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that's what that looks like.
Rashawn said, assuming I have Gibbs, Barkley as my other 2 backs. I think that's just a comment before. Misfit said, appreciate you guys. Ron Skav. Hopefully that said that right.
That's what I said. I knew you were going to say that because I answered this question earlier. I knew you were going to do that. That's
I don't know if it was
hysterical.
this question though. He
but
was
it was
in here
him.
before.
It was him.
Yeah. said, was considering to trade my Kamara and Flowers for Hall and Ayuk. Would you do about this? Yes. I would do that in a heartbeat.
Flowers for Hall and Ayuk. Yeah, I would do it. I mean, Kamara's been incredible, but I would do it.
I
Yeah.
would do that. Yeah.
Matt, you too?
Yeah, I would do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jared said to add my question earlier about Likely and Kincaid, who to start. You said Kincaid. Jazeki is on waivers. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you need Jazeki. You have Likely.
He's
you
got
have
a tough
Kincaid.
matchup this week, Mike Kasecki.
Yeah.
So
Play Kincaid.
I
Yep.
agree. Misfit said I dropped Hopkins for Downs. Good. I love Josh Downs.
Yeah.
I think that's the right call.
yeah, well done.
Brunson said tried shopping Kincaid, no luck. This is in regards to he had Bowers.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
just curious.
Yeah. That's fine.
Hose.
Yep.
I meant
He's been here before.
said hello, fellas. PPR need one flex. Have Rashad White, Samir, Dowdle, P. Ryan, Robinson, Bucky, Irving. Okay.
One flex out of those.
If Rashad White doesn't play, it's Irving for me here.
Bucky to the moon.
Yeah, and even if Rashad White plays, I'd be nervous on the split here. I might actually go Robinson. Actually, and I don't love it, but I think I go Robinson, and I think you guys will disagree. But I think I go Robinson.
No, because I do think I think Matthew Stafford's gonna have a tough day, but I still think some passing production is gonna be there for Demarcus Robinson. If there's I shouldn't say if there is a weakness. There is a weakness on the 49ers defense, and it is their secondary. They're gonna get Hufanga back, and that's gonna be a big help. But I still think Demarcus Robinson, even though Stafford I think will put up a bad outing for fantasy, Demarcus Robinson will still get some numbers. But yeah, if it's Rashad White is out, I think it's Bucky Irving either way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Matt.
I'm playing Bucky if White's out. I've been a Bucky believer for way too long. That would take up way too much of your guys' time. So Bucky to the moon.
All right, cool. Slapsky said 12-man PPR, 2 flex starters. Murray, Henry, Brian Robinson, CeeDee Lamb, Nico, and then McBride and Devonta Smith in the flex, and Demarcus Robinson. Okay, he's got 2 flexes, Smith and Demarcus. Benches, Dowdle, Spears, Allen, T. Higgins, Schultz. Rate my roster, 3rd pick, Snake.
Rate his roster.
I think it's great. I think it's phenomenal.
I mean,
to be
CD
honest
and
with you.
Nico Collins is pretty fucking sexy. And
Yeah.
Devonta Smith right now with no
McBride,
AJ Brown.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got Higgins just waiting in the wings for eventually when he gets healthy.
Just
So,
hanging out. Yeah.
yeah,
No, I like it.
pretty good
I like it.
roster.
I dig it.
All right. Brandon said PPR trade away Mostert for Judy or Addison. I'm probably hanging on to Mostert. I just want to see what he looks like in that offense.
Yep. I'd like
Yeah.
to wait and see when Mostert's healthy, unless you're desperate for one of those 2 wide receivers.
Which Addison didn't practice this week either.
Yeah. Addison's still banged up.
If you're desperate, who are you picking between the two of them?
Only Judy, but only because of the injury with Addison right now.
I know it sounds crazy though. I could understand the point for Addison though. I could, but this guy Naylor looks pretty good too.
Hey,
so I'm
it's
curious.
Spartan.
Yeah. Oh, is he? I didn't know
He
he went to
is.
Michigan State. Oh, okay.
You sure did.
That.
There you go.
Okay, we answered this
We
already.
answered that. Yeah.
Should I trade JT for Mike Evans and Swift? I'm thinking no. I don't care about Swift, so it's really
Yeah,
just
I don't give
Evans
a shit
for
about
JT
Swift.
for me.
Yeah.
Swift, I would get Swift in a trade and I'd just turn around and throw him in the fucking whatever.
Yeah,
Like, all
I'm
right,
taking JT
there's
just
the
for
bench, buddy.
I'm taking JT just because of the emergence of Godwin. It's not a slight on
Sure.
Evans. I just that's JT. I'm not worried about him. I think if Richardson continues to struggle, they're going to lean on JT. I love Evans. Don't get me wrong, but Godwin's emergence, like we have to be honest. Eventually, they should eat into each other a little bit.
I mean, Matt, I'll kick this to you, but I'll just say I think there is a world, and I think we've seen this world in which both those wide receivers are productive at the same time. But Matt, you got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think you're spot on there. They both have been relevant at the same time. I don't think that's going to change too much, but the known value of JT, I'm just going to take that.
I would do that too. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, if you could get somebody better than Swift, cool.
I just make an argument for Mike Evans because I would defend Mike Evans like I defend my own children. So
Sure.
you know.
I mean,
I know
he's
you
going to be
love Mike
good.
Evans. You love Mike Evans.
I do.
All right. Brandon said, I'm in a tough situation. Yeah, a lot of us are, Brandon. He said, Running backs are CMC, Henry, Dobbins, Najee, Mostert, Corum, and Algier. Said wide receivers are Collins, Rice, Mooney, Coleman. Looking to trade the guy that has CD and Neighbors. I don't know.
He's looking to trade with the guy who has CD and Neighbors. I don't know what you're giving up though, man.
I don't know what you. Okay.
Yeah.
Wants to make a deal is what he's saying. Okay, so he essentially is okay. So let's take Neighbors out of the equation. If you're trading for CD, you probably got to give CMC up, and you're probably going to have to give Dobbins up. In this, I'm okay with doing that though. To be completely honest with you, I'm okay giving CMC and Dobbins up. Your running backs are Henry, Najee, Mostert, Corum, though, so I don't really love that, but I don't see how you do it without moving CMC.
I wouldn't want to do it for
giving
that
Dobbins
reason.
as well.
I wouldn't want to do it for that reason. I mean, you just summed up the reason why I wouldn't want to do it. I mean,
Yeah.
you mentioned the running backs that would be left, and I think Matt was shaking his head at you and saying the same thing.
Yeah, I'm in complete agreement.
I would trade Dobbins for Neighbors, though. I would.
Dobbins for Neighbors, I guess. Yeah, sure. All right, fine.
Neighbors too. He's looking at the guy's roster. I'm just saying I could.
I would do, but
would
you mentioned giving up both the
Neighbors
guys.
get that
You
done.
mentioned that. That's what I heard.
I know.
Yeah.
To which I would say
the definition. When we were in the conversation after week 1, and we had that whole big. We had that whole big debate about Dobbins and selling him high and stuff.
Yeah, we did.
He is now reaching another tier of selling high. And at that point, if somebody came to you week 1 and said, somebody offered me J.K. Dobbins from Malik Neighbors, you'd be like, is the person drunk?
Yeah,
and even after week 1, you might still say, is that person crazy? It was 1 week.
Yeah.
Like, I love Dobbins. He looks phenomenal. But I would be okay if you really want one of these two guys. I'd be okay moving. I mean, unless you want to move Henry, if you really feel that convicted about Dobbins for the rest of the year over Henry.
I just feel like we're trying to make a trade too hard here.
Yeah, I don't think you have to do a trade.
That's what I was going to say. It feels like you're forcing the issue because if you move one of Dobbins or Henry, your running back room gets a little bit scary depending on how long CMC's out.
Yeah,
and by the way, I'll just add on to this before we go to another question, or I guess we'll wrap up soon. But I would also just say, like, maybe revisit this if and when, I mean, hopefully after CMC's stint on the IR ends, then maybe revisit this. If Dobbins is still playing well, you've got Henry, now you got CMC back, then I revisit this. That's what I would do.
Yeah,
as opposed to forcing the issue now, and God forbid CMC needs more time. Because again, we already established the Niners don't give a shit about our fantasy football team. If they need to rest them more, they're going to rest them more. So if that happens, and then if you make the trade now, you're kind of screwed a little bit, at least in terms of running back,
Fair.
I don't know.
Fair.
That's how I would approach it. I would just revisit it after CMC was back.
Yeah, I was just trying to find some sort of deal. If I was going to make it, that makes sense. Will said, I'm also here for Pete, dogs of the week, fat fingers, wiener hats.
That's it.
No wiener hats today. Maybe
No
the dog mask will come out sometime. Look at my last 2 comments. Slapski said, all right, relax, buddy. He said, wide receivers available, Thielen, Wandell, Deontay, Jawan, Sutton, Gabe, Tyler. I don't know if that's the rest of his bench. He didn't ask another question. He just asked us to rate his team.
Yeah, he asked us to rate his team.
Yeah, so
was there another question after that?
I don't know. He's just saying wide receivers available. I don't think that's wide receivers available on waivers.
Cool.
I hope not. But
that's what I was about to ask. I don't know how they're available.
Yeah, I mean, unless it's like an 8-man.
Roasted.
Pick 2 the rest of the year. Lazard, Mike Williams, Christian Kirk. It's Shakir and Kirk. Right. Don't overthink it.
Yeah, Shakir and Kirk. Yes.
Yep.
Mike freaking Williams, man, what a freaking disaster.
I only say I only like Alan Lazard sneaky in DFS. It's got nothing to do with redraft or anything else. I'm in the DFS mind, so that's it.
Ron Skov said trade Kamara out. We already got you there.
Yeah.
He asked it already. In case you missed it, we said yes. Go do that trade for Hall. Because I know he sent it in again, so he might have missed it. Brandon Nagayan, who sent us a super chat before, said, "Boys, trade Nico for Jettas."
Oof.
I mean, sh-
I would. Yeah,
sure.
I would.
Yeah, sure.
I
Yeah.
would. Yeah.
I mean,
Feels weird to say, but
that's a blockbuster trade in terms of fantasy
Mhm.
football wide receivers, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dom said, Dom's a 49ers fan.
Fuck yeah,
Said,
man. There you
should I
go.
drop
Representing.
Jennings or Tyler Johnson for Allen? I'd be dropping Tyler Johnson for Allen.
Yes. Same.
Matt?
I think, and I'll just only because I'm a resident 49er fan, I do think we're going to get probably 3 to 5 receptions out of Juwan Jennings here, about 45 yards, 50 yards in this game. I mean, you're not getting anything crazy out of him, but yeah, I would drop Tyler Johnson.
and most importantly, probably like 12 pancakes. I could watch
Yeah.
that guy block all day.
Yeah, jeez, Matt, jeez, where have you been all my life? All right, let's fucking go.
Greg said, need 3 from JSN, DJ Moore, Ayuk, Sharp, Swift, Tank, half point. Yeah, I mean, if Walker's out this week, you're starting Sharps, and I think you're starting DJ and Ayuk. If Walker is available, I think you're going JSN.
Yeah, it checks out. I agree.
I would maybe think about Tank over JSN, but
Yeah,
I'm with you on the first 2.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, just a few more guys because I am starting. Oh gosh, Dom said, "Let's go 49ers." I don't want that up on the screen for too long.
Yeah, you do. You want that up on the screen. Yeah.
Joseph said,
come back anytime.
He gave us more context for the trade. He said my wide receiver room: CD, Ayuk, Godwin, London, Worthy, Rome. So he got B-Rob. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, he got B-Rob for JMO and Zeke. His receivers were pretty good. I think it's a good trade. He said,
I'm cool with it.
Good trade.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Yeah.
All right, just about 3-4 more. He said, "Oh, Joseph said, thank you guys. Liked. We appreciate it. Hopefully, you come back."
That, man. Yeah.
George Play 01 said, "Start 2 non PPR. DJ Moore, JSN Flowers, JMO. DJ Moore for me. Good matchup this week. The other 3, I'm just gonna go JMO for the upside. I don't know what you guys think. I could see a case for Flowers, but I think I go JMO.
Yeah, Matt,
Because
go
it's
ahead,
half.
Yeah, I think I'm JMO and DJ Moore here too. I mean, yeah, that's where I would end. Flowers is interesting to me, but I don't know.
JSN's more interesting to me than Flowers, or no?
I don't know. Flowers plays Dallas. Could be a high-scoring game. 0-2 Ravens. They may need to find ways to. They might get creative with him.
That's kind of what I'm thinking in my head. That could be a lot of points in that game, and I really am concerned about.
But hey, Detroit, Arizona, probably a lot of points in that one too.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go Zay Flowers.
You are going Zay.
Ooh.
Yeah. After looking at it, they're playing Dallas. Dallas has been
Actually,
they just got torched by Shaheed, and a
Oh,
lot
shit,
of
I think I'm going with you, actually.
I think I go Flowers.
Because I'm thinking, I'm thinking about earlier when I was talking about how I was saying it's going to be a defensive matchup. My opinion between Chicago and Indianapolis, that obviously directly affects DJ Moore. So, and you guys kind of talked me into Zay over JSN. So yeah, I think I would follow Pete off that ledge, Thelma and Louise style. Pete, we're holding hands, driving off the cliff. Let's do it. Matt's in the back seat. He's with us.
By the way, Joseph said, "Will Def be back? How often do you guys stream?" So yeah, I mean, we stream too much. So we are just to give anybody that's still listening. Yeah. Our schedule is on Mondays. It's our reaction shows. Who's trending up? Who's trending down? Tuesdays are our waiver wire show to get you ready to go for those who unfortunately have waivers that go through on Tuesday nights. I think it's a crime. It should be Wednesday nights, but that's just me. And then Wednesday, we're here today. We don't normally come on Wednesdays. We're working something out to see if maybe Matt will do a solo on Wednesday or be with Coach, who some of you may have seen on the clips on our recordings. But Matt and Coach will be on. And if not, one of us may join Matt if Coach can't make it, or Matt will rock it solo. And then Thursday, this is all at 6:00. Wednesday show for Matt and them will be at 7, 8 o'clock Eastern time. And then, the rest of our shows are at 6 Eastern time. Then Thursday, we have our start sits. Friday start sits. And Sunday is also start sits right before game time. Me and Anthony, or Anthony and somebody else jumps on at 10 o'clock in the morning. Said, sounds good. Have a great night. Yep, we appreciate it, Joe. Thanks for stopping in.
buddy.
All right, how we feeling? I mean, we've exhausted this. Why don't we tease the listeners and tell them come back tomorrow for your questions. We're gonna do a lot more start sits. I don't want to drain myself from answering start sits because we got a couple more days of answering those. But come back tomorrow. We'll be here at 6 o'clock for start sits.
Yeah.
And Hoff, why don't you close us out, man?
I will, but also, of course, Matt, tell everybody where they could, appreciate you being on here. We had fun. You did a good job. We hazed you a little bit, not too bad. We probably should have done more. That's on me and Pete. But tell everybody where they could find you, check out everything that you're doing, and what's going on.
Hey, it was great to be here. Thanks for letting me join. You can follow me and Coach over on X at the FF Mediators. We kind of focus a lot on Dynasty, but we are definitely fantasy players to our core, so we will answer anything for you. Start, sit, trade, questions you have, or even roster construction. So follow us over on X. DM us with your questions. Let us know. We're happy to help however we can.
Cool. Cloud9 is a little sad. He said I was up next. Why don't we throw him a bone?
Jared did say I was the man, though. You gloss over that shit, of course, naturally. Sorry. You got 37 comments saying how much I loved you. I got Jared coming in here, and he says I'm the man, and I am the man. I appreciate you, Jared. You know what, Jared? You're the fucking man. How's that sound? Here we go.
Look, Tyler Farmer also was on Twitter and then came over from Twitter to YouTube to send in another comment. So we appreciate that.
Hey, shout out him. He's a friend of the Mediators. He helps us out with a few things. So
okay, look at that. Look at that. We're growing friendships. But why don't we'll grab Cloud9 just because he obviously stuck around and was still here enough to say we still didn't answer him and he was waiting. So we'll go to him and then we are out of here. He said trying to decide getting rid of Higgins, Waddle, other wide receivers, Wilson, RBs. I mean, so it sounds like he's trying to pick between Higgins and Waddle to get rid of.
I will just say in terms of I hate that you're thinking you got to get rid of one of these guys, but if we're gonna have the conversation, I know that they put Tua on the IR. But I think, and selfishly, I hope, because every time Tua drops back, I'm going to be nervous. But if I got rid of one of those guys, I'd probably get rid of Waddle only because I think Tyreek Hill is quarterback proof, in my opinion, and we're obviously going to find that out soon. But I think he's quarterback proof for the most part. I don't know if I could say the same about Waddle, especially when he's in an offense with Tyreek Hill. So I think I would go Waddle in this case, but I really hate that you're even thinking about this, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
Matt, what about you?
I would urge caution as well. I mean, it's a little early to start panicking. I really like Higgins, and I understand he might be the most frustrating player to have on your team. Every single year it feels like we're going through this, but I don't think I'd move from Waddle just yet. Not unless you can get something to help you.
And that's how Cloud9 feels. This is what he's doing right now. But no, and he did follow up and he said, I can keep them, but should I just give them up? No, I don't think you should. Honestly, I don't. And I get it. It hasn't been a great first 2 weeks, but keep that in mind. First 2 weeks. I would stay the course a little bit longer if you could.
All right. One more.
This guy.
They said the trade's off the table after tonight.
Okay. All right.
If you have questions, Eternal came in and said I was after Cloud. Guys, just send a comment. Send your question into the video below once we close out, and we'll answer it. But we just won't answer it live. We'll message you back. Just comment on our show once it closes out. He said, okay. Should I trade Dak and Waddle for Burrow and Pickens? I have Chase and want to pair him up with Burrow. Trade off the board tonight.
Trade Dak and Waddle for Burrow. Oh my God.
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't. I will just say I think you're gonna get more out of Pickens, and when Pete, I mentioned this on yesterday's show. Pickens played great in week 1. Week 2, he was covered by your boy Patrick Surtain. So I think there's more to come from Pickens. Definitely more than what you saw in week 2 for sure. I think it's more in line with what week 1 was, but I don't know, man. That Bengals offense has got to find its way right now. I think I would, and I know we addressed our concerns about Waddle. We literally just talked about the guy. I think I'd still stick with the Dak and Waddle into this. Matt, what about you, man?
I think you nailed it right there at the end. There's a lot of concerns with the Bengals offense right now that needs to get worked out. And Dak just produces fantasy points, man. Like there's no way around it. He just does.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you though. Pickens over Waddle. Like I feel like that feels like the safer pick right now.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's enough for me to jump onto Burrow in that offense right now.
Yeah, I kind of agree. All right, well, let's close out. Eternal, you really want me to answer you badly. He sent it again. He said, so just take Josh Downs. That's it. Josh Downs over Mooney. Go for the upside. That's it. And
I would go Mooney there.
I would go Mooney as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know what? If you send us in a super chat, we'll make sure to get to you guys. This is exactly why we do the super chats. There's so many questions we can't get to everybody. If you're frustrated that we didn't get to, send us in a super chat or just send us in a comment once the video closes out, and we'll comment back to you. You just won't get an answer live.
Bing bong.
But all right,
We
Hoff,
will answer though.
out,
We
man.
will answer.
We will
Yeah,
answer.
all right.
We will answer. But
We
Hoff,
will
close
answer.
out, man.
Yes, I will close us out. Matt, it was a pleasure, absolute pleasure to have you with us. Pete, you're okay. We're working on it. But listen,
The people love him though.
the people love him. The people are fucking infatuated with Pete. But listen, until next time, folks, stay thirsty, be kind to one another. We'll catch you guys on the flip side. Cheers. Did you hit the outro?
Oh, you were hitting it.
Nope.
I'm not up there yet.
Hey,